When we go for street shopping, we often bargain with the seller to get the product at a lower cost than what he demands. Is similar bargaining possible in the Indian judiciary? That we do a big crime and bargain with the court to get the punishment for a smaller crime? This is actually possible, and in this video, let's talk about that possibility. It's called plea bargaining. Let's start with an example to understand plea bargaining better. Let's start with a negative example or an example that shows the negative aspect of this process. This is Rajesh Shetty. He is a Mumbai-based criminal who has about 15 criminal cases registered against him, including murder. According to crime branch officials, Shetty identifies a house in advance and chooses the best time to enter the house and will loot the house within 15 to 20 minutes. And when he is caught, there is no evidence against him. His record shows that he is a zero recovery thief. He sells everything soon after the theft. But still, when he is caught by the police, he accepts that he has committed this crime instead of denying it. And he says that he has done only one crime: housebreaking and theft. Shetty knew that admitting his guilt in a smaller crime would only lead to a 5 or 6 month jail punishment, while waiting for the final verdict to come, and not admitting his guilt would lead to the police finding him guilty in many other cases, including murder, and this would lead to a longer prison term. This is one negative aspect of this process. Criminals can escape harsh punishment by admitting their guilt and by accepting a smaller punishment. Now let's take a positive example. During the initial stages of coronavirus spread in India, we saw in the news about a religious gathering in Delhi by the members of Tablighi Jamaat. This was considered a coronavirus super spreader event, with more than 4,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases from this event. And the government of India had placed a ban on public gatherings to control the virus spread, even before this religious gathering. So cases were filed against these members of Tablighi Jamaat for violating the visa conditions by attending a religious gathering. And the members of this gathering was from different countries. So if they wait till the final verdict of these cases, it would take years for the court to announce a final verdict. So these members used the plea bargaining process. Even though they were accused of violating visa conditions, these foreign nationals accepted their guilt in minor offences, which they haven't even done, and walked free after paying the small fines imposed by the court. So we have a positive side and a negative side. So basically, plea bargaining refers to a process in which a person charged with a criminal offence negotiates with the opposite party or the prosecution for a lesser punishment than what is provided in law, by admitting that he has committed a smaller offence, even if he hasn't done it. This practice is common in the United States of America and has been a successful method in dealing with complicated cases. It primarily involves negotiations before the trial and may involve either bargaining on the charge of the offence or in the amount of punishment. In India, the concept of plea bargaining was not a part of law until 2006. There has always been a provision in the Code of Criminal Procedure or CRPC for an accused to admit his guilt in the initial stage itself, instead of waiting for years to get the final verdict. But this is not the same as plea bargaining. Plea bargaining includes admitting guilt for minor offences which you haven't even done. In 2003, it was Justice Malimath Committee who recommended the plea bargaining system in India. This committee pointed out the success of this system in USA to show how effective this system has been in dealing with complicated cases. And later, plea bargaining was introduced in India in 2006 as part of a set of amendments to the CRPC. But there are differences in the plea bargaining system in India and US. In the US, the prosecutor or the party which files the complaint plays a key role in bargaining, whereas in India, this process can be initiated only by the person accused of this crime. The accused will have to apply to the court for invoking the benefit of plea bargaining. The reason why such a system has been included in the Indian judicial system is to ensure speedy trial of cases and to end uncertainty over the outcome of criminal cases, so as to save huge litigation cost and to relieve both parties of anxiety. But is plea bargaining possible in every cases? The answer is no. The cases for which this practice is allowed are very limited. Only someone who has been charged for an offence that does not attract death sentence, life sentence or a prison term above 7 years can make use of this scheme. Other categories of cases where plea bargaining is not applicable include those offences committed against a woman or child below the age of 14 years, and those offences affecting the socio-economic conditions of the country. Some of the offences that come under this socio-economic category are those offences that violates acts like the Dowry Prohibition Act of 1961, the Commission of Sati Prevention Act 1987, the Immoral Traffic Act 1956. Anyone who commit offences that include the violation of any of these acts cannot use the option of plea bargaining. The first step in this process is that the applicant should approach the court with a petition and affidavit stating that it is his voluntary preference and that he has understood the nature and extent of punishment provided in the law for the offence, for which he is accepting his guilt. Courts are also very particular about the voluntary nature of this exercise. It wants to make sure that the accused is admitting a guilt for a smaller offence on his own, as there is a possibility of someone admitting guilt of offences they haven't even done due to factors like poverty or prosecution pressure. After this step, the court will allow the prosecutor, the investigating officer, and the victim to hold a meeting for the satisfactory disposition of the case. The satisfactory disposition may involve payment of a certain amount as compensation and other expenses to the victim by the person accused of the crime. Once mutual satisfaction is reached, the court will then formalize this agreement by a report, which is signed by all parties and a presiding officer. The accused may be sentenced to a prison term that is half the minimum period fixed for the offence. Even though the system is available in India for over a decade, it is not yet used commonly. There were also instances when the court disapproved bargaining with the offenders. But in spite of the negatives of this process, plea bargaining, when used at the right circumstances in the right way, is beneficial both for the victim and the accused by saving a lot of time. If you find this video informative, don't forget to click that like button and also subscribe to this channel and click that bell icon to stay updated.